As we have divided ourselves into many concepts, and each concept has given us a conception, and then our commotions relate to those concepts. Our life is very normal, like birds, like animals, like we go by the impulse. When we become young, we are very hot and passionate. When we become old, we fall apart. When we are kid, we grow. So these are natural processes of our life. They have no rational conception. As young you are, you shall grow. As grown up you are, you become adult. As adults you are become mature, and mature you are become old. As old you are dying. But you can't handle a relationship. Because to handle a relationship, you have to invest your spirit. And you don't have a concept of pure spirit. When you do not have a concept of pure spirit, then you have a concept of emotions, feeling, commotion, and everything else added to it. The game you play, then game plays with you, and it's like a shuttlecock going back and forth. It's a very subtle situation. Some people live their life, say 80 years, and you just look at them. They just came, they lived, and they went. "95% of people do not leave behind any mark. None so ever. Just few people know them, they were born, and few people goes to their funeral, and they are forgotten. Not only they are forgotten, in the family, majority of the people do not know the name of great-grandfather. Forget about anything else. So, some lived well, some didn't well. Some will not live well, some will try to live well. It's going on. Are you born that way? Is it decreed that you have to suffer? Not true. If you have your emotions and you keep your emotions and you do not use your emotion but use your spirit, you shall not suffer. It's very funny. Somebody tried to become a doctor. Became a doctor. 8 years to become a doctor. Then got a job. One day the person was very frustrated. I said, "What's wrong with you?" He said, "Oh, I took a student loan, now I work day and night just to pay it back." I said, "Why is it so painful for you to pay it back?" He said, "Karma. You got the life, you got the prana, you got the spirit, you got the soul, you have to pay it back." Everything you get, you have to pay it back. Nothing is free. And your body and your wealth and your environments is already predestined. You can increase it, like somebody start a business with $100,000, he become a millionaire, that's a fun. And somebody start with $100,000, he loses the $100,000, there's nothing. So loss and gain is personal. Start point is already set. As on a longitude, latitude you are born. Do you recognize who you are supposed to recognize? No, you don't. If it fits your emotion, you recognize. If it doesn't, you don't. If it fits your purpose, you recognize. If it doesn't, you don't. The judgment strength you have, that's the only enemy you have. You don't look at things in the light of the spirit, the light of the soul, and you do not believe and trust everything is the light and the soul. So things will fit in when they want to fit in. You're not required to fit them and unfit them, make them believe and try to believe them and try to consider. How come you marry a girl whom you are told for 7 years, I love you, I love you, I love you, then what happens? What happened to your statement? When you sign for a divorce, no contest, just our chemistry doesn't meet, why? Why you sometimes have friends and then don't have friends? Because technically speaking, you don't have strength. You don't have the strength to go through the gallows. And this is the main thing, that the most beautiful gift of life which can be just enjoyed is wasted. It's very funny, there was a girl, she wanted to marry. So everybody told her, don't marry this boy. She said, no, I want to. I said, okay. Got married. 6 years later, they start divorcing. Then they divorced. Next time she came again, she wanted to marry. We said, well, this time don't get married fast, just get engaged, see what happens. They got engaged for 6 years. And then she said, I don't want to be engaged, I want to be disengaged. And I looked at her, I said, isn't your routine? 6 years your routine? And similarly, there's a student of mine, she was my best student and she left. And every 2.5 years, this cycle changes. I was talking to her a week ago. I said, hey, this is the second and a half year coming on. What's next now? She said, you tell me. And I said, you're going to mess up again or you're going to do something wrong or right? And your ego, how is this? She said, I don't care. I always try to mess my life or not mess my life, I don't care. Worst come to worst, you are still alive, that's enough. Can you believe this? I said, what are you talking about? She said, oh, I know. I can do anything I want. And it must come to worst, you'll take care of me. I said, so you have a general permit to mess it up, huh? She said, yeah. 2.5 years, I'll do something else. You can divide the life by 2.5 years. And without any hesitation, at every 2.5, you have a conception. Inferiority complex, inferiority complex, you have a superiority complex. Because you have conceived that conception. There's a businessman I know, he does business, he's very successful, very kind. The moment he understands business, he leaves partnership. There's a fear of society, it's called sociophobia. There was a very talented girl, She once got very high job offer. She said, no, I want to be a school teacher. Didn't report for $90,000 a job a year, reported for $20,000 a year. I want to go to school. I want to teach school children. Because there was a very powerful conception, the authoritative power, the image of a school teacher. She didn't go because she wanted to teach. She has a conception. And whenever you have a concept, you have a conflict. These days the trend is a little changed, but a couple of years ago, everybody was a masseuse, everybody was a healer. Once I asked somebody, I said, you know the name of this muscle? He said, what? You mean calf? I said, calf has so many muscles. Have you just studied the anatomy? Have you understood what are you talking about? No. You do not understand something. Birds live, the animals live, the cows, the hogs, and horses, and you live too. In their world, when the time hits it flexes, they act and react. But in your case, it is a applied consciousness. In your case, it is your depth and strength. In your case, is your wisdom and intelligence. In your case, it is your intuition and your human strength. Therefore, you can be very flexible, adjustable, and your position can be understood, and you can stand under, and you can keep going. And especially when you become a teacher, you have no territory. Teacher has no territory, and healer has nothing of self but prayer. Healer is a living prayer, and human is a living light. And there's no fight about it. But in our own thing, we do something little bit here and a little bit there. We lose in life three things: flexibility, humility, and compassion. Our time immemorial. In the beginning, we were just one. Then we were in one cave. Then a couple caves made a tribe. And tribe made the territory. Certain territory made the nation. Certain nation make the state. Certain state make the country. Certain countries make the world. We have been dividing from time beginning to today. And for our strength, we never learn wisdom, intuition, self-respect, self-esteem, compassion, kindness, caring. All we learned is conquered or get conquered. And even today we do the same thing. Neither then we had a peace, nor we had a peace. Simply our geographical situation might have changed and our some cultural changes might have happened. Can you believe Jews and Arabs have lived for centuries together? They can't live it for today. Yugoslavia was a one country. My God, they have killed each other like you can't even understand. And 1996, ethnic cleansing they call it. In Africa, it's tribal cleansing. In Europe, it's ethnic cleansing. At home, it is ego cleansing. One woman came once to me and she was so badly beaten, it was terrible. And while counseling the situation, I asked her, I said, what happened night before? In the morning there was a fight. She said, oh, we were very happy, we went out for dinner, we came, we had a beautiful, marvelous sex, we slept, we got up in the morning. We were so happy, everything was fine. I said, then what happened? He said, well, he got ready and I got ready. We were sitting on a breakfast table. I don't know when, she said, but when he put a spoon in, there was a fly. There was a... And he took the bowl and the goat at her face, threw the table, broke up the plates. She said, all I knew is afterwards there was nothing but a disaster. And then he stomped down. And I just found out I was bleeding. I went through the mirror, I had a whole cut face. Why? Can you not tolerate? No, you can't. Can you communicate? You can't. Your common notion is not to live in harmony, peace and tranquility. Your common notion is to conquer or be conquered. You have a brutal instinct. Yes, it is agreed you are part brute and part human and part angel. But the development is the angelic part must be above 60%. Human part should be almost 30%. And 10% your brute part must keep you together. It is rational. That's how development should be. That your 7-year cycle of consciousness, 11-year cycle of intelligence, and 18-year cycle of life must have a proportionate growth. Life force of 18 years is 1. Then your consciousness must grow in proportion. 2 point something, 5, 6, 7, 8, even 3. Your intelligence is 11. When you are 18 as 1 unit, that's 1 unit. Intelligence must grow 1.6, 1.9, 1. Or 2. Life will be very comfortable, commonly comfortable, easy. You know, once I was called, and the man came and said, your teacher wants to see you. I say, is it handout urgent or I have time? He said, come as you want. I said, okay. I went home and changed my clothes and dressed up properly and I went and presented. He looked at me. I said, took you a long time. I said, no. I came, I could fast come. Well, you are not dressed up properly. I said, man, God. I went and yes, sir, I didn't dress up properly. He said, no, 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 stand up before the mirror, I tell you that. This is wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong. And you are the best dressed man. I said, oh, what a day today it is. You know what you can do. Then I sat down. He said, sit down, I want to tell you something. Never get ready in a hurry. You will never be yourself. He said, if you be lazy, you are crazy. If you are in a hurry, you won't be you. Month or two passed, I forgot about the situation, what it was. And the man came, he said, you are wanted again. I said, again? I have a time? He said, perfect, you have time. I said, okay, don't worry, baby. I got so neatly dressed up, you can't believe it. And he was walking outside in the lawn. He said, you came? I said, very well dressed up. I didn't say anything. He looked at me, that's true. Then he sat down and he said, whenever you go to get something, be beautiful, and look as good, perfect you can. Simple, gracious, and go with a smile. Wow, 14 years I was old. He won't do anything. He said, come on, I want to see you. One day I was working in the field and he looked at me. He said, let's go. Now you know how you work in India, especially in field. You have big underwear and one shirt and that's it, and a little turban on your head. And I had that turning the earth, I had that thing a little in my hand. He said, come along. So I started with him. You know, he took me through the whole city, main streets, barefooted. When I came back, I said, thank you, I can go. I said, no, no, I want to tell you something. How was your visit to the city today? I said, truthfully, or just I have to tell you what you want to hear? He said, no, truthfully. He said, very embarrassing. I said, thank you. I wanted you to experience embarrassment, that's all. Done. We'll meet again. So a teacher is there to teach a person all the facet and faculty of life and to conquer the mental state in embarrassment, in confrontation. That's the job. You have come here to become teachers to what? Read books and write stories? Teach people how to raise your legs and how to raise your head and stand on the head and or just tell them how good and great you are? No. That will never make you teacher, that will make you book machine. You will become teacher, then you will become a perfect, enlightened creature. And it's very easy. You will be not you. So long your ego is, you are not a teacher. So long you expect appreciation, you are not a teacher, you are a beggar. Some are very qualified beggars, some are very rude and crude. I went once in Boulder and there was a spiritual teacher. When the students told me his rules, I had to talk to him. Had to. I said, hey, what are you doing? He said, I am testing my students. I said, I can understand there is a certain code of conduct. But you are exposing them to law of the state. What belonged to the Caesar belonged to the Caesar. What belonged to the God belonged to the God. As a teacher, you have no authority, moral, personal or individual. As a person, you have authority of contract. But as a teacher, you have no authority of a contract. You have only one right to serve, to serve, to serve, to elevate, to elevate, to elevate. Exalt, exalt, exalt. When a teacher and student meet in a good atmosphere, it creates a spark. Have you heard that?
Yes, sir.
It creates a spark. When you take a chisel and hammer it, it creates a spark too. A good teacher is a bad news. A bad teacher is a good news. We are actually not teachers here in this country. Here in this country, there's no standard that you're a teacher. There are so many restrictions. Workman compensation, insurance, harassment, sensual, sexual, social, personal harassment. Teacher is so heavily insured here. There's hardly any teacher, as far as I know in the United States, who have not gone through 2, 3, 5, 6 lawsuits. The most famous lawsuit I went through is, we call it a beat case. Somebody sued me that I came to Boston, I lecture that beets are good for you. And she ate. Under that influence, she got tubulization done. And 7 years later, 8 years later, she realized she can't have a baby. So she sued. Case went, discovery started, everything happened. And funny part is, one fine day, they withdrew the case. Just withdrew it. 2.5 years we stood the torture, and after that they just withdrew it. Just withdrew it. They asked me what to do. It's nothing. It's a part of the territory. It's come with the territory. Some students you meet, they are very wise, loving, they serve you. Some just be with you, like to put their hook somewhere. Some like to come to be insane. This is one of the situations which is very uncommonly insane. Because you must understand as a teacher, you cannot be judged by the present time. History will judge you. Teacher is not judged by his students, neither is judged by fellow men, neither is judged by anybody. Teacher is always judged by history. Are you willing to take the risk that in history you shall be known as the bogus idiot who exploited everybody, were worthless? My God, what a risk. You didn't understand what I was saying. I forgive you for your affirmation. It's amazing. Don't fall in love with me, because then I'll start testing you and you'll feel miserable. This is the first job of the love of the teacher. When you love a teacher, you should become desireless. Undesirable, not desireless. One day I told somebody, I say, become desireless. She came up naked in the university. And I said, what? What is wrong with you? She said, I have no desire. I said, no desire to put clothes on. No, I'm natural, organic. She told me today. I say, Holy Mother, go back, put clothes on, come back. If you say so. So she came up with clothes. I reserved my judgment from that day, what to say and what not. You know, most of the time in my classes, I'll ask Shakti, what should I say? I have had 27 years of best funny experience. Most funny experience. You know, I have a lot of pain. You don't understand that I'm not without. I'm in a humongous pain. It's not that they can't become great teacher. It's not that. It's just they can't. They just don't do it. It's just very funny. It's just funny. And some of the teachers want to be popular. What is it? Popularity contest? And some people wants to be very loving. Have you seen a teacher among 3HO? I will not name him. He hugs everybody. You know him? One day he met me and I said, either stop hugging or leave 3HO. Because in the code of conduct it's not written. Hug somebody if somebody hugs you. That I can understand. But what are you doing? See, I just want to hug everybody. I say action as a reaction equal and opposite. First you hug, then you bug. And this game of hugging and bugging doesn't work. But I was a teacher in India too. You come improperly in the class and you come 1 minute late, that's all you need to raise the Kundalini. Class will sit and watch and that person will go through, you can't believe it. Because without a discipline you can never be disciple, and without a discipline you cannot be a master. And without discipline you cannot deliver. And without a discipline you will never know the exalted self. The power to obey is the power to command. Here in the West, to surrender, to be humble, to obey is a slavery. But actually it is the power of the self. Only most exalted, most powerful character can surrender. It's a very different culture, different understanding. When I started writing here, humbly yours, people objected to it. Sir, what does that mean, humbly yours? I said, well, I mean it, what I say. Because I'm a vehicle, I'm a channel. I'm not the absolute. Characteristics, character. Let us test it out, our spirit. This is what you have to do. And you did this morning just like this, remember that?
Yes, sir.
And now you have to do this. And remember, these two fingers have to be open. And you have to do the same thing and hit the seventh rib with full force, and as he is going to put the tape up. Right? Ready? You have done it, now you must do it. This time you must experience it because this is the time to do it. Come on, ready, set, and go.
योगी सुरत की पहाड़ी लावे, नाम सिमरन की अकथता को अंग में बात.
The other one. Wrong tape. Keep going, don't worry about it. It is a little difficult what you did in the morning, but its action is very strong. So please do your best. This is you, within you, for you. I don't think they are going to help you with the music, but… Oh no, it is a known 27-year nonsense.
Power of Gobind, chanted and be liberated. Liberation while the life
Come on now.
you and your family. Chanted and bring peace to the world. God lives inside you. All your affairs will be successful. Remembrance of the number.
Remind yourself every breath that you have to win tonight.
The name of God lives within.
Good luck.
The woman who sings the Guru Gayatri gains both worldly and heavenly joy. All earthly wealth and magic powers come to her, and through Raj Yoga she merges with God. And through Raj Yoga she merges with God. All joy and celebration, a gift from God. The true Guru's blessing destroys the fear of death. Peace of life is found. Wealth and magic powers come to you. Find the greatness of the non-gift liberated while still alive. The woman who sings the Guru Gayatri gains both worldly and heavenly joy. All earthly wealth and magic powers come to her, and through Raj Yoga she merges with God. And through Raj Yoga she merges with God. Govinde Mukande Rari Apari Hariyam Hariyam Name Akame. 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 Govinde Mukande Hariyam Hariyam Name Akame.
Govinne mukande udare apare, Hariyam Hariyam Name Akame.
Don't listen to this guy. I think they have come from Mars. Keep going, don't stop. They are hammering you. You are doing good and they are doing worse. Balance is there. I think for the rest of the course we have to find different arrangements.
The power of Govind, chant it and be liberated. Liberation while alive to you and your family. Chant it and bring peace to the world. God lives inside you. All your affairs will be successful. Remembrance of the Nam and knowledge of the infinite. The name of God lives within you. The woman who sings the Guru Gayatri gains both worldly and heavenly joy. All earthly wealth and magic powers come to birth, and through Raj Yoga she merges with God. And through Raj Yoga she merges with God. All joy and celebration, a gift from God. The true Guru's blessing destroys the fear of death. Peace of life is found. Wealth and magic powers come to you. Find the greatness of the non-get liberated while still alive. The woman who sings the Guru Gayatri gains both worldly and heavenly joy. All earthly wealth and magic powers come to her, and through Raj Yoga she merges with God. And through Raj Yoga she merges with God. Govinne mukande udare apare, Hariyam Hariyam Name Akame. Govinne mukande udare apare, Hariyam Hariyam Name Akame. Govinde mukande urare apare, Hariyam yuname 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 akame.
Govinde mukande udare apare, Hariyam niname akame. Govinde
The power of Govind,
mukande
chant and be liberated.
udare
Liberation while alive to you and your family.
apare,
Chant it and bring peace to the world. God lives inside you.
Hariyam
All your affairs will be successful.
yuname
Remembrance of the Nam and knowledge of the infinite.
akame.
The name of God lives within you. The woman who sings the Guru Gayatri gains both worldly and heavenly joy. All earthly wealth and magic powers come to birth, and through Raj Yoga she merges with God. And through Raj Yoga she merges with all joy and celebration, a gift from God. The true Guru's blessing destroys the fear of death. Peace of life is found. Wealth and magic powers come to you. Find the greatness of the non-get liberated while still alive. The woman who sings a Guru Gayatri gains both worldly and heavenly joy. All earthly wealth and magical powers come to her, and through our yoga she merges with God. And through our yoga she merges with God. Govinda Mukande Udare Apare Hariyam Hariyam Name Akame. 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 Govinda Mukande Udare Apare Hariyam Hariyam Name Akame.
They are doing better than you did. Keep going. Sound of the breath must touch the heavens and it must be hard. Go, try your best. Inhale. Stretch your hands up, please. and lift up your body to the extent you stretch your spine. It is one time only. Come on, do it hard. Lift, tight, tight, tight. Relax. Okay. There cannot be any power which can come to you from outside. There is a dormant power in you which has to be awakened. Without awakening that power and penetrated all this cycle of transmission, which is your magnetic field energy in which you have a psyche, which governs your essence to become the greater exalted person, to face everything with grace. That's the beauty. So we are kind of practicing one way or the other, trying to be nice to ourselves for the first time. At least we have the desire to become teacher. We will become or not, act or not is difficult. Because the teacher acts in the interest of the higher self of the student. There are three parts of the student: his self, his worldly self, and his higher self. A spiritual teacher only belongs to the higher self. And when he belongs to the higher self and student obeys and reaches his higher self, then other two low-grade sides are all taken care of. Very simple. You have to elevate to go higher, and then you can leak downstairs. So here is the Shashara. So you have to save yourself from your ears, from your eyes, and from your mouth, from your hands and from your legs and from other two areas. Out of the 9 holes, as it is, you have to have a total control what comes in and what goes out of you in the interest of you. This world is our qualification, standard, examination place where we must examine ourselves in our own interest. We must learn to love ourselves before we love anybody else. We must honor ourselves before we honor anybody. We must serve ourselves before we serve anybody. If we do not know to do things for ourselves, we shall not be in a position to do things for others, because when we do things for others, that is for a purpose. And purpose will create prejudice. Instead of having friends, you will have enemies. You have concepts. You have a concept what is right and what is wrong. You are born and trained and you die in judgment. Things comes to you, you feel very honored. Things taken away from you, you feel very insulted. एक भी न दे, 10 भी हार ले, तो मूड़ा कहूँ क्या करे, जिस ठाकुर से नहीं चारा, तिसको करो सदा नमस्कार. If he doesn't give you 1 and take away the 10 you have got, then fool what you can do. With that Lord, with you have no reason. Why to fight? Why not just to bow and get the blessings? I'm not telling you that you should study it, but there is a scripture called Asa ki War, Asa di War. It is written in Gurmukhi and it is translated in English. If you somehow get a chance to read it and understand it, there's not a one wisdom in the world, you will not be the master of it. don't have to go to library and search it out, everything. It tells you exactly what it is, why it is what it is, and therefore it is. And therefore it is, if you cross it, then that is. Very good. It tells you about God, soul, and a man. It tells you about word, the words, and the wonder, the infinite, finite. It's very defined thing. When I did my all studies, and I just asked one question: why Sikhs sing this one every morning? Now there should be some reason. I look at the words and study them. It was a combination of many sayings of the many gurus. And when I put it together, it's very funny. There are some shabads and some slokas and there are some paudis, like steps. And I end in the end and say, my God, it's the science of human behavior in every aspect of life. I was not a Sikh to begin with, I became a Sikh. I was born in a Sikh family, that's true. But I am a scientist. I do not believe the God which cannot be explained need to be worshipped. I also don't believe that if you do not know who made you, you will make up in this world. I also believe there is a hub and there is a rim and there are spokes. So every word spoken is like a spoke. It supports you and stops you. I also believe every statement of yours affects forever. I also believe that everything which God has done is so open that every human has to be absolutely open. So my beliefs religious you should not follow. They are very simple, but they will look to you very weird. I don't believe anything is complicated. I think when we hide and seek and we want to hunt and harm, then we create complicated things. I don't believe anybody loves anybody. I think we use this word as to blind another person. Or sometimes we blind ourselves. I believe you cannot love anybody, it happens. It's very funny, last 25 years, when I say somebody, I love you, I mean it. And when they say love me, they don't understand what they love me. Love me of what? How can you love me? Neither you can see me, nor you can hear me, neither you speak my language, nor you understand my strength, neither you know my altitude, my longitude and latitude, nor you know my width. What do you know of me? Statue? There are so many statues at the ranch. Love them. I love them too. That's why they are there. Love is something which is a power that makes you to know the unknown. And if you do not know the unknown of a person, what love? Which part of you love? You love my nose and my ears? You love my fingers? What do you love? What is this love you talk? What is it? What is you call you are beautiful? You are the ugliest creature on the earth. Ask the animals. Ask the dog. The moment the dog sees you, he hates you. Look at this two-legged person. I'm at least balanced on four legs. And you walk like this and hit at each other. At least he looks down. You know, the animal gets really injured and in trouble, they put them to sleep. And you are injured and you are in trouble, puts you to sleep, there's no law. Law is you must suffer to the end. You have absolutely no right. A dog is cleaned and washed and ribboned and you spend so many dollars, remember that? If somebody does this to you, have ever you? Dogs have glasses and boots these days and every kind of stuff. I know one dog which skates. Oh yeah. They put him in all skating boots and the guy is just having fun. I must say it's the most funny thing. You can teach a parrot to fire a cannon. You can teach a cat which cannot be taught. You teach a dog, you teach everything. You cannot teach your mind, which is your first servant. You cannot potty train your mind. And you throw slender and garbage everywhere. You're the ugliest born mammal on the earth. Ugliest. There's nothing beyond you ugly. Because you have never potty trained your mind and it's everywhere. It's funny. Have you noticed sometime? You say things which are so ugly. What for? You say, I have heard it. You carry the bacteria of the ugliness from one person to another person to other person. You gossip, you surrender, you slander, you do all that kind of stuff. Because you have never potty trained your mind. You have no power against you, this thing called mind. We'll talk tomorrow. Will that be all right? We'll take mind and its perception, its conception, its projections in progressiveness in the sense how mind works. I'll come tomorrow sometime whenever I think we finished the business today. I think we have a little more time now. All the meetings have been done, orders have been passed. I work also, but I'm not that free. I have 14 corporations, I have to work. I'm just a pretty good slave. Yesterday I came here and I looked so good and nice to you. If you had seen me in the guest house yelling and screaming, neighbors came out to see what happened. Yeah, I was so shouting. And my young boy said, your blood pressure must be very high. I said, no, I was calm. I was a very good actor. I scared everybody to death. Work it out. Idea is to project the mental force into the faculty in the facility where another person can understand quickly and things get done. What frequency you use and what caliber and gauge you use, that is your ability. You never talk like that. You don't speak like that. You don't know anything. So we'll talk tomorrow, we'll start the subject. We'll be here at some time in the forenoon. Good night.